All right, this is Steve here, and basically I'm just going to give you guys a teeny weeny bit of a view of what this repair can be like. This step has a crack from right here, starts right there and goes down here and it curves over. So I have what's called an REO, a repair engineering order. So what I'm going to do is I have to cut this damaged area out. In order to do that safely, you can see where inside I marked the area. So I'm going to have to remove this stiffener. And you don't want to sand and then drill on the outside. So what you want to do is you want to back drill it along here and then pop the rivets out and then take this piece off perfectly. The whole point is to get this off without damaging it. So that's the way we're going to work with it. Okay, in some of my tutorials I explain how to drill things out, and it probably sounds overly simplistic, but the entire point of back drilling is when you drill, you don't get in the bore of the hole if you can help it, and you don't mar, score, scratch the part that you're drilling through. So the point is to drill just the bucktails off just to the level of the part. So I'm only going to drill this the thickness of the bucktail, and then I'm going to chisel it off even. That way you have what we have here, and all of this is untouched. Just the bucktails are gone. What this will allow is when I come back to take a center punch, and I can just pop those right out the front. This piece will be like brand new. This piece here will be unaffected. And the other side of it, you'll just see where the rivets come out. And then we'll know if they're 1097s, which is a reduced head, or whether they're the 426, which is a standard countersink. Anyway, back in a minute. All right, here's one drilled. I don't want to get too close, but that's center drilled and ready to go. So I'll get something on this camera to where we can do it, and I'll show you how we take it off. Stand by 1 second. Okay. No, it's too far away.
Just can't let other people tell you what to do. Because you think you have to go. Emma, think. God damn it. You're a smart girl. Can you think bigger with me for just a second?
I don't know if it's going to hold there, but here
we are flying through space.
We're just going to pop that one off.
Not go out and lend my parents.
Screw your parents.
It's easy for you to say that.
You want to keep feeling the way you do now?
All right, well, if it's a little blurry, it's a little blurry, but we're focusing right here.
I know.
So this is not the correct chisel, but I left my chisels at work. But actually, this is a wood chisel, and it works really good. So now that it's center drilled, see, comes right off. Look at that. And there is not one iota of damage on this part. And the bucktail is gone, so that rivet is ready to just pop straight through. Or another thing you can do on some pieces is take a wood or a plastic wedge and wedge it between this piece and the parent piece that we're dealing with, and then it'll pop off, and then it's easier to punch the rivets out the front. Also, we're gonna have to get some 40 bits and take this nut plate off to allow us access. So back in a minute. So I had to do these from the front, obviously, because they're standard head rivets, but I was just very careful, drilled the centers, and then gently chiseled them off, and it turned out really well. Like I said, you have to know how to do it, but the safer way, when able, is to back drill. as long as you pay attention to the few rules. So that's gonna look really good. I got 2 more on top to knock out. Be back. All right, so I back drilled this whole row. Pardon my other iPad there with my show on it. And I'll show you just how easy this is. Perfect.
Yes, I think so.
Perfect.
For the moment.
Perfect.
That's great. That's great.
Perfect. Look at that. All right, so those are all out nice and clean. Now, I don't usually do this, but here's the deal. I'm an A&P. I'm not a sheet metal person by schooling or trade, if you will. But because I was willing to risk failing and put myself out there a bunch of years ago, I started volunteering for all the sheet metal jobs. Because no one else at the company I worked for wanted to do it. And to be honest, a lot of them that tried did it really, really, really poorly. So I liked woodworking, so I started learning more than what I had been taught in the past, and I started buying tools that made it easier and more efficient, and I stick to the basics. Every time I get in a bind, and I'm human, I get in a bind. There are times where I'll get to a point where I just won't know what to do, and then I stop. I get with someone that knows more than I do, usually a guy named Scott Cam, who I've worked with a lot at Masaba, or I'll reach out to almost anyone for more information. Everyone, well, I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people are going to look at this video and say, oh my God, that's easy, anyone can do that, that's stupid. It's not stupid, it's not easy, and not everyone can do this. I have followed people so many times that just F this up so bad. And I get it, they're undertrained, or they don't care, or their main emphasis isn't to protect the base metal. They just hurry up, they get in there, they try to rip them out, and the next thing you know, you have number 4 holes that are now number 8s. They're figure 8s, they're snowmen, it's just horrible. And most times they had the time, and sometimes they had the tools, and they still screwed it all up. So before you make a reply and say, oh, that's stupid, anyone can do that, it's been in my career, many people don't know these simple basics, and if you just learn these basics, you can do really good sheet metal work. Anyhow, that's all I got. I just want to, you know, save my blood pressure and somebody that thinks they know it all 10 seconds of typing. Don't even bother telling me how easy this is. For me, it's fairly easy, and once in a great while I'll still screw up a hole. But I spent probably 2 decades learning how to do this myself, predominantly, with help from some really good people. So, step at a time. Anyway, we'll get back with it. Kind of change the field of view here. Make it easier to show you this. It's easier for me to line it up. So that's that row of rivets. And they're out with 0 damage, 0 scratches, 0 hogged out holes. And if you look at the back, no damage either. So, like I said earlier, it's not brain surgery, but you have to follow the basics.